Hello everybody, and welcome back to school. I'm AJ.
And I'm Antoinette.
And this is your ECS News.
Today is Jack Black's birthday.
Happy birthday, Jack Black. Our verse for today is Philippians 4:6. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God.
I think this verse is very important for the situation we're in now.
Yeah, in a time that is so uncertain, we need to be able to find peace.
Now let's go back to Ryland with our new principal, Miss West.
Thanks, Antoinette. How has it been the principal of ECS so far?
It's been great. Like, it feels like a natural transition, and I've really enjoyed it. It feels good.
Do you miss teaching?
I do really miss teaching. I miss being up there just explaining things and answering questions and helping students understand what they're learning. I really do miss it, yeah.
Do you believe that the new rules implemented for this year will help?
I do, and they really already have helped. So here's what's really cool. Like, let's say we have a barrier up and we have a mask on, and you think, wow, I don't really need this, because if I'm within 6 feet of someone, I'm still a close contact, but it does mean that you're less likely to catch something from someone. If someone sneezes, having a mask on, having a barrier on does really stop. It's not all about how can we get around the rules, but it is about, like, really this is stopping people from spreading any kind of sickness.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it's been hard for students and teachers to adjust to the CDC's rules?
I think the hardest thing is just getting used to having a mask on your face all the time, but people have such really good attitudes about it. They haven't complained much, and I really think it's because it's worth it to people to be together. We don't really mind if it means we can be together. So I don't think hasn't been as hard as I thought it might be for people.
Yeah. What plan does ECS have all the students have to go online?
Well, we've put a lot of energy into planning what we're doing now with in-person. And if we have to go online, we don't have it all completely planned out yet, but the teachers did an amazing job last year of planning, really with only 2 weeks there to get switched over, right, to go remote. And this year we have some ideas. We don't have any plan laid out step by step, but we have a lot of good ideas, a lot of things we've learned, what works and what doesn't work from last year. And so if it comes to that, we will implement those, but I hate to share those now. It's not all written out, but we are planning and hoping to be in person for as long as possible, hopefully the whole year. So it's not solidified yet what would happen if we all go remote. So
yeah. What are some challenges of being a principal during this time?
I would say the biggest challenge is all of the time spent planning procedures and making sure they're implemented. And it is amazing how much time actually goes into making sure kids who are quarantined have what they need and communicating with parents. There's just been a lot of extra communication along those lines and trying to think through, what do the remote learners need and what do quarantine kids need, and keeping all those things and communicating with teachers like, hey, make sure that you're keeping these kids informed and these kids. And there's been some kids in and out, like someone coming back from quarantine or leaving for quarantine, and not that we have a ton of kids doing that, but it's all time consuming. So that I think would be the hardest thing. But kids have been really good. I mean, I don't feel like I've wasted a lot of time having to police a mask or do anything like that. It's just been, people have had really good attitudes about everything.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. See you guys.
Back on tonight, AJ.
Thank you, Ron, for giving us insight into how our principal is adapting to the school's changes.
AJ went out and interviewed the students on what they thought about their new rules, like the mask.
This is Mitchell, Big Mitch Wilson. Mitch, how do you feel about wearing masks to school?
They're kind of uncomfortable, and I kind of can't hear anybody, but they're fine.
I agree. Do you think wearing masks is worth coming to school each day?
Oh, 100%.
And what advice would you give to someone who doesn't want to wear a mask?
Just suck it up. I want to come to school.
Amen. Thank you, Mitch. How do you feel about wearing masks during school, Andrew?
At first, I was a little bit skeptical, but as the year's starting to go on, it's starting to become more like comfortable for me, I guess, than what it was at the beginning.
Okay. Do you think wearing a mask is worth coming to school each day?
Yeah. I think it's better to be in person than at home, even if you have to fight the mask.
What advice would you give to the students that don't want to wear a mask?
Just wear a mask. It's not that hard. That's about it.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah. Just
Back
go
to
with
you.
it.
While a lot of us are back at school, we still have some that are online.
Martin caught up with one of the students to see how it was going.
Yeah. Hey, Eagles. Today we have an interview with McKenna Whalen to get her thoughts on online school for this year. What made you want to go online for the beginning of this year?
It was kind of it was more of my parents wanting me to go online than anything else because I was kind of wanting to do whatever they were going to do. So my parents were like, let's do online and see how well this works, and then we'll talk about moving later.
Okay. Do you plan on coming back to the building at all this year, or?
It definitely depends on if things are safer. If not, then probably not. But it's also, flu season is coming up. So it's one of those things that going back, like at the end of this quarter, that wouldn't be the best decision because flu season is coming up. So it might possibly after, but I'm not totally sure.
All right. Do you feel that you do better in school or in online school?
I think it depends on the topic or the subject because for like English and history and all of those, I do a lot better learning myself. But with other things like algebra, it's a little bit more difficult. But then if I find those videos or something else online to help me, then that helps me understand it a little bit better.
All right. This is the last question. What do you think are some downsides for being on online school?
Sometimes if I'm working on my homework and a teacher's not in their planning period or they've already had their planning period, it's really difficult if I have a question just because I don't get that answer when I'm working on it, and then I'll get it later when I have the assignment done, or if the assignment is due the next day, I try to have it done the day before. And if I don't get that answer until that day, it makes it a little bit more difficult to manage getting everything turned in on time just because I don't have the answer and I don't want to miss a bunch of problems just because I didn't know how to do something.
All right. Well, thank you for interviewing. And we will hopefully see you sometime, if it's this year or next year.
Thank you, Martin. There's already been an amazing start to our fall sports.
The tennis team, volleyball team, cross-country team, and both soccer teams have done great this year.
The volleyball team has started off with a 1-2 record with heartbreaking losses against North Posey and South Spencer, but a dub against Dover Union.
The tennis team has the first game against South Knox on Tuesday, September 1st. Be sure to come out and support your Eagles.
Now let's go down to Noah with the members of the boys tennis team.
Thank you, guys. Today I'm here with Thomas. And Thomas, I got a few questions for you.
Okay.
What is one thing you were looking forward to during this season?
I'm looking forward to playing against high schoolers instead of middle schoolers now, and I'm excited to already be on the varsity as a freshman.
That's really nice. And I got one more question. What advice would you give to new players that are just starting tennis? Because I know you've played before.
I would recommend to work mostly on your footwork and also on rallies.
Yes.
Because if you can get multiple rallies in with your opponent, you increase your chances of winning by about 50 to 60%.
That's awesome. Thank you, Thomas. We'll talk to you next time.
Okay.
Now I'm joined here with our coach. Coach, how do you think this season's going to go?
So I'm hopeful that this season's going to go well. We've got some youth on the team. We have some guys that are are new to the game.
Yep.
But we're improving every practice.
Oh, yeah.
Every practice we're able to get in. So I'm seeing a lot of improvement from week to week, and I think it's going to be a successful season. We've got some good guys this year.
That's great.
So, yeah.
That's great. I got one more question for you.
All right.
What is the team doing to take precautions during this time of uncertainty with Corona?
So yeah, that's a great question. I think the sport allows for you to social distance with how it's played.
Yes.
So that's kind of an automatic. But if anybody feels like they are more comfortable wearing a mask, they're able to do that. It's not required.
Yes.
So that's something that we talked about from day one.
Yeah.
The other thing would be just to use good judgment when you're away from the court, when
Yes.
you're at school,
Yeah.
when you're at home, when you're at church, wherever you're at, just to maintain all those rules that
Oh,
we're
yeah.
all getting to know the last 6 months, and
Yes.
and just make good decisions and kind of use your head. So
Yeah.
that's really the key, I think.
Thank you.
So
Thank you, Coach, for joining me today. And now I'm going to head back to you guys, Anthony and AJ, back in the studio.
Thanks, Noah.
The girls soccer team, coached by Mr. Miller, are on a roll this season, as they are currently 7th in the state and undefeated, 4 games in. With wins against Vincent's Lincoln, Washington Catholic, Tell City, and Northeastern Du Bois.
Senior Mariah Dunham leads the team and is tied with 18 goals in the state. Freshman Tino leads the team and state with assists of 14.
Make sure to support the girls in their game against North Knox on September 1st. The boys' soccer season has started off with a win against White River Valley and Columbus Christian, but lost 3 games to Castle, Tell City, and South Knox.
Freshman Josiah Dunham and junior Derek Whalen are tied with 4 goals.
The boys have a game next Wednesday against Mater Dei. Be sure to come out and cheer them on. Antone got a chance to interview some of the members of the soccer team and on how the season was going.
Hello, Coach. How are you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How do you think the season's going to go?
Well, I think we're going to have a real successful season. I think we can definitely improve from last year's season. Even though it's my first year, I know that you guys went about 500, so winning about half games, and I think we can do a lot better. I think we can make a good run in the regional tournament. Also, I think we can make a run in state. I think our team, we have a lot of confidence, and I have a lot of confidence in our guys, and I think very highly of their abilities, and I think that we can make a deep run into the tournament this year.
What ways has COVID affected your practices?
So originally in the summer we had to, kind of do a questionnaire, kind of a self-evaluation, asking, if you had your temperature, or if you have a temperature, if you have felt any symptoms or anything like that. And it kind of affected us at first. Some people had to quarantine for a little bit, but other than that, it really hasn't affected our practices. I know now some of us had to quarantine, and it's a struggle, but as a team we come together and we play together and we pull through. So I think eventually, once we get everybody back, COVID won't affect us at all.
Hello, Marshall. How are you doing?
Doing good.
What are you looking forward to during your freshman year?
Just building relationships, and I don't really know. I kind of want to be surprised. See what ECS high school is like.
Yeah. What is your upperclassmen doing to make you feel welcome?
They're really kind and considerate and care about everything that you do, and they're encouraging.
That's good. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Adam. How are you doing?
Doing all right.
That's good. What are you looking forward to your season?
During the senior season, I'd say I just kind of want to see the team grow. I got to see the team last year from our lowest of low, and I'm hoping to hit our highest of high this year.
All right. How do you think your team's going to be?
I think we're going to turn out well. We're much more competitive this year than last year, as far as against the teams we play. So I can see us getting lots of dubs.
That's good. All right, back to you.
Wow, what an exciting beginning to our new school year.
Yes, and I'm very excited for the new year.
This has been
Antone
and Aaron
signing off
on ECS News.